Well, hello and welcome back to the channel for this second gun review that we're going to be doing. And if you watched the last video, then you probably have a good idea of what this little guy is here. Now, picked this up in May of this year, of 2026, as a birthday present to my girlfriend. And because she loves Glocks and she loves 9mm. I'd love to get away from 9mm, but that is what it, whole nother thing. But she likes it, but let's be honest, Freedom seeds ain't as cheap as they once were, and they ain't getting any cheaper. So I picked this guy up, brand new. It's a Glock 44. This is, dimensionally speaking, identical to a Glock 19. This is, as I said, brand new. This is a what generation is this? I want to say this is a generation 5. Anyway, so you have the extra magazine that Glock includes with their handguns. One magazine in the gun. The weapon is clear. There is no ammunition in it. It is safe to handle at this point in time. In addition to the firearm, you have a cable lock, a brush, caliber correct brush, and a little cloth loop there, and a rod. And you have some backing inserts so you can change the size of the back of the grip to make it larger or smaller to fit your needs. And here underneath this foam insert is the owner's manual for this pistol. Now, as I mentioned, this gun is an ideal training aid because it is 100% identical to the Glock 19, which of course is a popular 9mm caliber of Glock handgun, and a Glock 23, which is the same size weapon in a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. So if you own either one of those firearms and they are your daily carry, or they're a firearm you rotate through regularly for carry, then you might want to take a look at picking up one of these guys. They're not that expensive. If the problem is finding one, it took me about a year and a half to find one, and when I started looking for one, I was looking for one for myself because I was carrying a Glock 23 and then switched to a Glock 19. Now that I am with my current domestic partner, she loves 9mm, she loves Glock. I've gotten rid of my Glocks, I've gotten rid of 9mm, so this serves me personally no purpose other than to have fun with and play around with, because 22 is cheap. Now, you have, unlike the full-size Glocks, if you look really close at those rear sights, you'll see that they're actually adjustable, unlike the full-size Glocks, the centerfire ones. Everything else is the same. You have the same setup for the sights, the white dot on the front sight and the white highlighting on the rear sights. You have the same fire controls. You have the slide release and the mag release, and that's really it. It is still a Glock. Serial numbers in the same spot. Everything is 100% identical. And like I have mentioned, I'm sure more than once in this video, any Glock 19 or Glock 23 holsters, this will fit in. It will 100% fit in. Matter of fact, the holster that it was in when I opened the case is actually a Glock 19 holster. So again, it's an excellent training aid. And for those of you that are familiar with Glocks, it takes apart identical to a centerfire Glock. For those of you that are new to the hobby and unfamiliar, we will take this guy apart real quick. Now, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. Avoid doing that as much as humanly possible with rimfire weapons, because when you do that, the firing pin is striking the face of the chamber wall, because that's where the primer is on rimfire ammunition. It's around the base of the rim of the shell. So when you dry fire a rimfire weapon, that's what you're doing. You can get away with it a few times, but after a while it's going to damage the firing pin. And I did not want to do that, but there was no way to do what I need to do to take this weapon apart without discharging it, without dry firing it, which is one thing I will say that I wish Glock had kind of done a little differently, is redesign the fire mechanism so that that could be done without having to dry fire this rimfire weapon. So first thing we're going to do, just like a normal Glock, we're going to get the weapon out of battery. You have these little clips right here. There's another one on the other side. You're going to pull down both sides, and that allows the slide to come off. Just like a normal 9mm or 40 caliber Glock. And then you have the springs, the recoil springs. They depress. This end, the black plastic end of the rod, sits in this little hole right here, just like that. So that's how it goes back in. And then the barrel and chamber are one piece. They just literally lift out. To reassemble, you do that in reverse. Before we reassemble, a couple of things you want to look at when you're cleaning this. You want to clean this feed throat right here, this ramp that the bullets slide up. You want to make sure that's nice and clean. Now, a little bit of dirt is not going to hurt, but if you put 400 or 500 or 1,000 rounds through this thing, you're going to want to clean it, because if there's dirt and an accumulation of soot and well, not soot, but carbon fouling and copper fouling built up here, it'll cause rounds to kind of hang up, and they won't feed as smoothly as they otherwise should. Another trouble spot, you want to take that little brush that is included and just kind of clean out the inside of the chamber here every few hundred rounds or few thousand rounds, just to make sure that there's not an accumulation of carbon and copper from the jacketing of the bullets that can cause rounds to kind of stick and not eject properly. Additionally, as you shoot the gun, just look for signs of wear. Anywhere there's visible wear on the finish of the weapon, put a little small, and when I say small, I do mean small dab of grease, gun grease. Short of that, just wipe this down with a rim oil wipe, and that will not only protect the weapon, from moisture, it'll also help, with lubrication. So when you put this back in, your next step is going to be, well, first finding the hole. There we go. The next thing you want to look at when you're cleaning and servicing this is the slide rails. So these little grooves right here on both sides of the slide. You're going to want to run a gun cleaning patch all down the inside of there from end to end, just to get out any dirt or pocket lint or carbon and powder deposits that might be in there that can cause the action to get kind of gritty, which can and will cause excessive and premature wear. So once you've cleaned that out, and that's on both sides, a little small dab of grease goes a long way. Additionally, you'll want to put a little small dab right here on the end of this rail that my fingernail is touching, and right here, and this little, I'm trying to remember what it's called, that right there. So with those lubricated, the next step in the process, you will just literally pop this guy right back into place, and it sits down. There's a little divot. I'm trying to get it to sit in. Trying to see it. There we go. There's a small little divot right in here that it sits in. You can see it's nice and flat. It's level with the bottom of the frame. It's not kicked up at an angle. All right. Now with that done, the next thing you'll want to clean is these frame rails here, and the same ones on the opposite side. Additionally, you're going to want to take a small little dab of grease right here just to protect that, and a small little dab right here on this. This is essentially your hammer. With theoretically all of your parts lubricated and cleaned, you'll then slide this right back on here. If this was a center fire, I would pull the trigger and do a functions check. It's not a center fire, so I'm not going to do that. The slide is not coming off, so it is most likely put together correctly. And then we slap the magazine back on. Make sure it locks back with an empty magazine. Make sure it goes forward when you hit the slide release, and you're good to go. Each one of these magazines holds 10 rounds of 22 long rifle ammunition. And I say that, and I can't stress that enough, 22 long rifle, not short, not magnum. If you attempt to load shorts into these, they will probably load, they will probably feed, they will not eject. 22 magnums will not fit in these magazines, so that's a nice little, automatic built-in defense. You load the ammunition in just like you would a typical centerfire Glock magazine. The only difference is with these little 22 magazines, you kind of have a cheat. You have this little knob here you can just pull down to help expedite loading, and they also make 18 round magazines for these weapons too. So if you want to, you can shell out, I think they're only like they're 15 to 25 bucks depending on where you're buying them from. You can shell out, get those extra magazines, and be good to go. Additionally, just like the 9mm and 40 caliber Glocks, you have the frame rail here for mounting accessories like a gun light or a laser. So that's why I said in the previous video to this, if you carry it, if there is a rimfire variant of a popular gun that you like to carry and you can swing it, get it. And if you can swing it, most definitely set it up identical to your carry rig. That way you can train with this for pennies on the dollar compared to paying centerfire ammunition prices.
So which one you shooting?
Alright, so we're out here at the ranch with the Glock 44. Going to do a quick 3-shot group off the rest. Just see what it does. This is about 10 yards or so. So definitely not going to win any competition shooting with it, but for 10 yards for a 22 long rifle, it's a fairly decent pistol.